Plaintiff Eleanor Mendoza says her younger brother abused drugs for years, and 18 years ago, he passed away. Eleanor claims 3 years ago she discovered that the defendant may be his biological daughter, so she petitioned the court for a DNA test. Defendant Bianca Brown and her mother, Linda Houston Douglas, say the only thing Bianca ever knew about her father was that he was an alcoholic. And the one time he saw her, he wouldn't even make eye contact with her. Bianca's eager to find out the truth today.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
And we're here. You all have petitioned the court for a DNA test, is that correct? To determine whether you all are siblings? Is that what we're determining today?
No, sir, Your Honor. I petitioned the court for a DNA test because I want to find out if Bianca is my niece, the daughter of my baby brother, Alvin Bruce.
You look so young. I didn't know you could have a niece. That's why I said that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right.
It's such a privilege to meet you. Thank you.
Well, give me some background on the case here.
Well, I'm the oldest of 4 children, and I had 3 younger brothers. And back in 2018, one of my brothers, the oldest of the 3, contacted me because he was so surprised. He wanted to know if I knew that our baby brother, who at that time was deceased, had been for about 18 years, if I knew whether he had had another daughter. We knew that he had one daughter from his marriage earlier, from when he had been divorced many, many years before. But after my parents had raised us up in Chicago, and then we all moved, most of us moved back to Mississippi and everything, my brother, Alvin Bruce, the youngest one, he lived a life of drugs.
Where, in Chicago?
Well, he had moved back to the South, and at this time he was...
Where did he get on drugs? In Chicago?
He started in Chicago,
I know
yes,
it.
sir.
We were doing fine before we moved up north, black people. We were down in the South. Well, we weren't doing fine because we had so much racism and oppression. But our values, we were going to church. We were going to get our education down in Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia. Time they tell us they got a few jobs up north. Not a few jobs, we needed those jobs. You had mass migration.
Yes, sir.
Folks from Mississippi came to Chicago. Alabama came to Detroit. South Carolina went to New York. And all of these were based on train routes, the trains that would take you up. And so they came up to Detroit, came to New York, came to Chicago, and let them put them on drugs. Doing all right down there in the South. Who would you rather be, a victim of racism or a victim of drug addiction? We came up here up north and we're both. Had drugs and racism, but a lot of folks have gone back to the South now, black folks. And don't come back to the South bringing that mess down there. Like Detroit didn't brought that down to Atlanta. Everybody in Atlanta known that from Detroit or some other crime-ridden city. Down there making fuss in Atlanta and Georgia. Some good senior citizens that lived down there all their life. They come up to the north, worked in those factories, went back down there to relax, and here you criminals gonna follow them back down there. Am I right or wrong? You know your brother. What do they do when they get down there in Mississippi? How do they do?
Well, he continued, hanging out with the wrong crowd, even though that's not the way our parents had raised us and everything. But he hung out with the wrong crowd. So, we wouldn't keep in close touch because he was hanging around with the wrong people. He struggled with his addiction. I think it was mostly crack and heroin. And so since he was in Memphis, I remember one year after then, our family had a family reunion there in Memphis. So I thought, well, I hadn't seen him in a long time because I wanted to see him. I just wanted to do what I could to help him. And so when we were there for the reunion, I asked one of my cousins to take me, since my brother didn't show up for the reunion. I said, take me where he's living. I want to see him and see where he's living. So he took me, and it looked like it was just nothing but a crack house. And when I saw him, I hardly even recognized him. And I just pleaded and begged him to, get some help and try to straighten out. But he always kept telling me when he would call me, every time he'd go to jail for little petty things, but he would tell me that he wasn't ready to be straightened out. So, it was hard for me to keep up with him and everything. But, I know he wasn't an angel. But inside, I know he was a kind, loving, sweet person, and I hated to see him living his life like that. And basically, I knew he would never hurt anyone. So that's why, I've tried to prepare myself for it. But lo and behold, in about 2000, the year 2000, I got a phone call from the Memphis morgue telling me that he had been brutally murdered. And I was trying to plan to have a funeral service for him back in Chicago where we had been raised. And at that time, the morgue told me, they said, ma'am, you don't understand. He said, there is nothing for us to ship. He said that if it hadn't been for your brother being in and out of the system where they had a record of his fingerprints, that was the only way we could identify him. And the morgue attendant told me that he felt like his death was drug related because he had seen a lot of cases like that back when he had been a morgue attendant in New York. So I was just really, devastated and everything. But we did end up having a memorial for him in Chicago. So that's why when Bianca contacted me in 2018, when she contacted me and my brother, I was a bit hesitant. One of my brothers, the oldest of the three, contacted me because he wanted to know if I knew that our baby brother, who at that time was deceased, had been for about 18 years, if I knew whether he had another daughter.
Plaintiff Eleanor Mendoza believes the defendant may be her brother's biological daughter, but he's been deceased for 18 years. So Eleanor petitioned the court for a DNA test.
How did she contact you? How?
Well, she called my brother. She said that she found his information on Facebook. And so my brother didn't know what to do. He wondered if I knew anything about Bruce having another daughter. And I said, no. I said, but I'll contact her and, see what we can do, because she lived closer to me. And I figured I could meet her and, we could bond and everything if she was really my niece. But, I've watched your show so many times and everything, even though she said her mother told her that my brother was her dad. I thought, well, maybe it's a good idea to get a DNA. And I told Bianca that. But I really, I want to accept her and put my emotions all out there and be there for her. And I told other family members about her and everything. And my other niece has been in touch with her and everything. We all are ready to embrace her, but we really need to know, whether or not she truly is my brother's daughter.
Certainly.
And why she waited so long to contact us. Well, I would really like to know that.
She's going to tell us, but let me also apologize if I put your brother in a bad light or if I played with that a little. However, it did give us an opportunity to give that lesson about migrating up north where all the drugs were and the addictions and the guns that came along with that. And so, I don't know, and nowadays we got all the guns up here and in the South. So I'm going to go to Mars. All right, young lady, let me hear from you. Give me some background. Stop looking so mad. What you mad about, Miss Brown?
I'm not
This is
mad.
a good day. This is supposed to be a good day.
Well, growing up, I didn't know my dad at all, like only to go on what my mom told me. She did tell me that he was an alcoholic, and that's basically what I knew. And she would always, like I would always tell her, like, could I go live with him? Where is he? And, you know, stuff like that. But she would always tell me that he didn't want me. And so I guess when I was around 8, I finally seen him, like, for the first time. We were at the mall, and he would only talk to my mom. He wouldn't say anything to me. He wouldn't even look my way. He would talk to her. He didn't acknowledge me at all. She told him, here's your daughter, would you speak to her? He never did. And it hurt me. But in my little mind, I still felt like that was my dad, and I still loved him. So as I got older, like, I would still question her, and she would still tell me the same thing. So once I got grown, I say around 23, I decided to look for him. And I had no luck. So I gave up. And I guess around age 28, I kind of decided to go back and try to find him. So that's when I went on the website, and I started to look and paid money to find him. And when I finally found him, I seen a whole list of relatives that he had. And so I just started calling numbers. And one number I called, he eventually reached back out to me like a month later and told me that he did know my dad and that he was his brother. So that's when he kind of pushed me off to Eleanor. He gave me her number, and I called her and talked to her.
All right. And so now we kind of clear on that. Eleanor, she was asking Mama over and over for many, many years, and then attempted once she came into adulthood. And you believe Eleanor is your aunt?
Yes.
All right. And what do you think, Eleanor? You think that she's your niece?
I believe she is. I see a family resemblance. You know, she sent me pictures of her children on my phone, and I thought they resemble our family.
Okay.
And, you know, I hope she is my niece.
When we come back, the results of the DNA test. And coming up on Judge Mathis.
We worked together and did a job together that was supposed to be split down the middle. She's claiming I stole $600 from her or something. I didn't, or part of the...
I got you. Can you answer my question now?
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about some $600 I stole.
And later...
I'm a mother of 6 kids, Your Honor. I've been pregnant for 6 years straight. They're 9 months apart. God said be fruitful and multiply because I am married.
That's right. God said you can have as many kids as you can afford.
Yes, sir. Me and my husband did that.
Court is in session at Judge Mathis. If you or a family member are in need of a DNA test, please call us at 1-888-VERDICT.
Do you have a pending lawsuit that you want Judge Mathis to decide? If so, call 1-888-VERDICT or visit us online at www.judgemathistv.com.
I got a phone call from the Memphis morgue telling me that he had been brutally murdered. And I mean, I was trying to plan to have a funeral service for him back in Chicago. And at that time, the morgue told me, they said, ma'am, you don't understand. He said, there is nothing for us to ship.
Plaintiff Eleanor Mendoza believes the defendant may be her brother's biological daughter, but he's been deceased for 18 years. So Eleanor petitioned the court for a DNA test.
Who is with you here today, Ms. Brown? Is that your security or, huh?
My mom.
Looking meaner than you. Okay. Yeah, all right. You have anything you want to say? Nothing, just security? So if it's not true, who you gonna jump on? Your daughter?
Do I have anything to say? Well, I'm sure he's a father, and I mean,
All
but
right.
when
Everybody's sure, and we're going to make it official. Is that what we're looking to do? All right. Well, let's make it official. You all are related.
All right.
There you have it.
Yeah.
God bless you. Have a good day. God bless you all.
Thank you, Judge Mathis.
Thank you.
I told you.
You did. And I believed you, but I just wanted to make it official. Thank you so much, sweetie, for being so patient with us. I love you. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you more and being there for you and your kids.
I want to know, like, what's going to change, like, since we found out the results, like, what's going to be different?
Well, hopefully we can stay in closer touch, and really get to know each other and be there for each other emotionally and everything. At least I don't feel like I have to hold back because of not knowing. You're my brother's daughter, and I accept you fully for that. I love you and your children too. I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you.
Plaintiff Sandra Kachikas says when she met the defendant, he wanted to date her. And although she refused, she still tried to help him out. But she claims he repaid her by having her falsely arrested in front of her children. Sandra's suing him for a loan, stolen money, and emotional distress. Defendant William Liebert says he never wanted to date Sandra because people warned him she was crazy. William denies owing Sandra for anything, and he's countersuing for harassment.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I met Will back in April when we worked at the same landscaping company. He was interested in a relationship with me. I'm in the middle of a divorce. I'm not ready for a relationship. I did everything in my power to help him out, as I would with any of my friends, and he repaid me by having me falsely arrested in front of my children.
You all never dated?
No. No, he was just my friend.
And what type of things did you all do? Just see each other at work or
We hung
outside?
out for his birthday. We worked together. Like I said, I have my own landscaping company, and he helped me with jobs at my landscaping company as well.
Okay. And get some background from you, sir.
Well, I met Sandra at a local landscaping company, and we did work together and went out a few times.
Went out a few times just to hang out?
Well, after we were done working, we had a couple
hanging
beers.
out.
Yeah.
Not to date?
No, it was more social
All right.
friendship. Yeah. But, and I guess what deterred me from what other people around me were saying about her and what to watch out for. And
What were they saying?
well, they said she was crazy. I mean, in layman's
That's what
terms.
made you think you can get you some money out of it.
Well, yeah.
If a person's
Yeah.
crazy, you can con them out their money because they don't think right.
No, no. not
Why else would you
necessarily.
borrow money from a crazy person?
Well, I don't necessarily think she's all around crazy.
You
I
were
just
told
think
that.
in her,
You were told that, you say?
I was, but
So why didn't
in
you
more
stay
of a
away?
relationship
Pardon?
setting. I said in more of a relationship setting.
Okay, they told you not to go into
Exactly.
a relationship with her.
Exactly.
But they did tell you she was crazy.
Correct.
What else? They tell you.
She's got a lot of issues that she's dealing with, an ex-husband, or some outside issues.
Outside issues. All right, she got her issues going on in her life, challenges, controversies, and she's crazy. That's what you were told.
Correct.
And then you went and borrowed money, she says.
I guess what deterred me from what other people around me were saying about her, and
What were they saying?
well, they said she was crazy. I mean, in layman's
That's what
terms.
made you think you can get you some money out of it.
Well, yeah.
If a person's
Yeah.
crazy, you can con them out their money because they don't think right.
Defendant William Liebert is being sued by his former friend, who claims William had her falsely arrested in front of her children.
And then you went and borrowed money, she says. So let's hear about that part.
Okay. Will had borrowed a total of $1,000 from me. And those circumstances were
When?
in the end of August. Those circumstances were
All at one time?
no, it was a period of different days. It was spanning between like a week and a half and 2 weeks.
Okay, and when was he to repay it?
He kept on saying his father was going to be repaying me, and then
Did he tell you when?
he kept on giving me excuses. Yes, he told me many a times, yes, we can go today and pick up that money, everything like that. And then
So he told you, let me borrow $1,000 and my dad will repay you.
no, his father was on the phone, and his father said, whatever you borrow him, I will pay you back and then some. I am a single mom with 3 kids. I'm in the middle of a divorce. I need all the money that I can. This
So
was
why
a
would
lot
you
of
loan him
money.
$1,000, ma'am?
Because I figured it as a investment because I
Investment in
had,
what, ma'am?
I'm sorry,
Investment in what?
investment in his father told me that he was going to pay me back and then some. Will had stayed with one of his friends and I went to his father's work and picked up a check for that friend with Will for over $600 and Will only stayed there for 3 days. This was
Gave
before.
to you?
No,
Okay,
this
let's
was.
keep his other friends out because I'm having a hard time understanding you.
Okay.
So let me
I'm
go
trying
back
to
over.
explain this.
I know.
So
That's
I
why
did
wanna
not
be
start.
quiet.
Yep,
Shh.
sorry.
Remember you say you're trying to explain and I'm saying I don't understand? That's why you got to listen to my questions so that I can
Mm-hmm.
understand. You already understand. So you don't need to keep talking to yourself. I need you to talk to me when I ask you a question for clarity. All right. So August, you talked to his father about repaying you. The father takes responsibility for repaying you.
This is how it went. We were sitting in the car. He was talking to his dad. When he borrowed them, after he borrowed, his father had paid the money back to his friend and given his friend that check.
I don't know what you're talking about with a friend, ma'am. Please, let's talk about the
Okay.
conversation with him and his father and you. That's all I want to
I
know about.
personally did not speak to his father. When he was on the phone with his father was telling him this. I have never spoke with his father. I heard his father on the phone.
You heard his voice. Okay. So what is the investment then you were looking for?
Well, I figured I'm loaning him this money, and his father said that he would give me back my money and then some.
That's what he told you, the father said.
That's what he told me. He's like, yes, I know, as he's on the phone with his dad. He's saying, yes, I know. I'll let her know that. Anything you borrow me, I will pay you back.
Everything came from him, not his father.
Correct.
Okay, so how did you come up? Did he call his father regarding the money? How did you come up?
He
in the
called his
conversation?
father many times because he didn't have any money and he needed money.
So he called his father.
He called his father
For
because
money.
his father is well
And
off.
so how did you come up? That's what I'm saying.
If I borrow money, no, he needed some money from his dad. And from his dad, I can't 100% recollect exactly what he said, but my name did come up. And he said, yes, and you let Sandra know that anything she borrows you, and this was reiterated.
Defendant William Liebert is being sued by his former friend, who claims William had her falsely arrested in front of her children.
Sir, do you want to explain to me how her name came up in the midst of you
didn't
talking
come
to
up
your
with-
father about money?
No.
This is a personal conversation. A son asking his dad, Dad, can I borrow money? Suddenly she gets on the hook for the money. So I'm trying to find out first how she became a subject of a conversation that you were having with your dad about you borrowing money from your dad.
She wasn't part of that conversation. What I was asking my dad had to do with me and my father.
Right.
That
Her name never came?
Not pertaining to the money, no.
Okay. Did it ever come up with your dad, the money?
Later on.
How?
It was me. I said, Sandra, first of all, before I even get into that, I thought this money was more of a gift, or we're going to have drinks and we're going to buy beer. She was buying drinks.
Oh, you did?
That.
Man, be quiet.
No, some of it, yes, I did.
No, I know you did.
And we worked together and did a job together that was supposed to be split down the middle, which I don't know how this was allocated on the small print, but she's claiming I stole $600 from her or something. I didn't, or part of the.
I got you. Can you answer my question now?
Yes.
'Cause I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about some 600 I stole. So my question to you is, how does she get involved with a transaction between you and your dad?
She did not. I don't know what else to tell you.
You said later on.
Yeah, that was later on. I said at the end.
I don't care when. I didn't ask you when. I want to know how. I said, how does she get involved with a conversation between you and your dad, and then you end up talking with your dad, or he ends up talking with her and guarantee her repayment? How does she get in with you and your dad? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Stuff happened, okay? She went to my dad's office unannounced and demanded money from my dad for what she claims I owed her. That's how that came up.
That's the first time your dad knew anything of it.
That's the first time.
All right, so that's two very different things. Somebody's telling a big lie. So let's move on. He said, and we'll figure out who's lying. And he told you he would pay you when again, ma'am?
There was multiple dates that he was repeatedly telling me that his father was going to pay.
Did you ever speak with his father?
The only time that I attempted to speak with his father, I called him. It was on the 7th of September. And that is when I had spoke with his, I don't know what you
doesn't matter. September 5th, what happened?
And his receptionist informed me that he wrote Will off 2 years ago. Okay. And there was another, I'm like, that's not true, because I just came to your office 2 weeks ago and got a check for one of his friends. Like, he knows he owes me this money. You came to his
dad's office?
I dropped him off at his dad's office for him to pick up a check for his friend.
Okay, so you're saying that confirms that he and his dad were getting along. All right, and that's the only encounter or conversation that you had?
I have never spoke with his father.
And all you know is what he told you when you all were in the car, and you say he was talking to his dad. He got off the phone and said, my dad said he'll pay you that and extra.
Because then after
Why do you think he would rely on his dad instead of him paying you back? That didn't come up?
He didn't have a job. I was helping him at a job where I used to work. He told me that he quit that job because he got pissed off at the one of the higher ups in the company. But truth be told, after all this comes out, he actually left an 8-ball of coke inside of the car.
Do you have any evidence that this was a loan, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
He's manipulated you. He's manipulated you.
Okay.
You've been manipulated.
Okay, on page 7. I was manipulated, exactly. He was the manipulator.
And I don't know why you would give your kids money, loan your kids money in the midst of the biggest crisis in your life, your divorce. And so you're in the midst of going through the biggest problem in your life, and lo and behold, you give a guy $1,000 in the midst of all that.
I have grown up in a very dysfunctional life. I have PTSD from my childhood. I am a very nice, I don't know, maybe naive person. Any of my friends you can ask, I would give the shirt off my back.
Defendant William Liebert is being sued by his former friend, who claims William had her falsely arrested in front of her children.
What are you going to point to me on page 7, ma'am?
Page 7, if you look on the top, it says, so as your dad called, it says, I just talked to him about 30 minutes ago. He was golfing. As soon as he got done with that, he would call me and he would make sure to take care of the situation. So as soon as he calls me, dear, I will call you.
What do you say to that, sir?
Well, I didn't even get around to kind of replying on what she was saying.
Did you tell her this, sir?
Did you text her?
Be quiet, ma'am. Did you text her
leading
this?
up? Yeah, leading up to this,
You did text her
I
that?
did.
You told me you thought it was a gift earlier.
I did.
And you,
And
all right, so why
this
was you
is the
texting
reason
going,
why I-
get out of here. Your claim is dismissed, your counterclaim. Yours is granted. He's a total fraud
Yes.
and a con man. He stole your
I
money.
appreciate
Don't you ever give your money to another
Never
man in a
again.
crisis like this with your children and a divorce,
It was
all
a
right?
big lesson.
Don't you ever do that. And any
I will
women who are
never.
watching, don't y'all do this. Have a good day. Judges
Thank
for the
you.
plaintiff.
How could you do this? I thought you were my friend. I thought you were my friend, and then you went and did this. You know I'm a nice
Sandra,
person.
you know what you did after this supposedly took place.
Yeah, I took your bag and I gave it to
you
your
did,
brother,
yeah.
and your
And you
brother's
spit in my
girlfriend
face.
went
You got
through
arrested.
it and found crack, $18, and a crack pipe, and they took it out. And then you tried to claim that I stole $300 from you. You're a liar. You're a liar and a manipulator, and then you re-victimized me on top of that.
Plaintiff Shaquasia Jackson says the defendant is her cousin, and he thinks he's a ladies' man. But every time he talks to a female, they turn him down. She's suing him today for the balance due on a car. Defendant Rashard Jackson says Shaquasia is one of his favorite cousins, and they are very close. But he insists she's suing for more than he owes.
Start with you.
I'm a mother of 6 kids, Your Honor. You can turn to page 5 to see my kids. There's 2, 3, 3, 5, 5, and 7.
Wow.
I've been pregnant for 6 years straight. They're 9 months apart. God said be fruitful and multiply because I am married.
That's right. God said you can have as many kids as you can afford.
Yes, sir. Me and my husband did that.
Yeah.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yeah, sure.
Rashard, he's my favorite cousin. My kids love him. Rashard had me time to time, with my 2 oldest. I just think it's funny Rashard think he's a ladies' man. Why I say that? Because every time he tries to talk to a female, they always turn him down or he always get caught up.
Yeah, if he don't have any money, he gonna keep getting turned down. And if you had to do something to help him about a car, he definitely not gonna get a yes. He gonna get all L's, no W's. All right.
What's not funny is Rashard purchased my car from me June the 22nd of 2021. I sold the car to him for $4,700, but he only owed me the remaining balance of $4,000. The same day I gave him the car, he haven't made a payment for 4 months until September the 1st, which that's on page 3.
Okay, let me hear from him. Give me some background, young man.
My name is Rashard Jackson. I'm originally from Savannah, Georgia. And I had my first flight experience on my way here to come see you, and I was
First
scared.
time on the airplane?
Yes, sir. I was scared out of my mind. I'm
What you
glad.
scared of? Because I'm scared out of my mind too on these
You fly
planes.
all the time.
I'm probably scared for 2 different reasons, but I'm scared too.
I ain't never been out the air, up in the air, and I'm just glad my kids wasn't on board with me because they would have seen how scared their dad was, nothing but a big scared kid. So I thank God they weren't on board because I was asking the stewardess all type of questions why the wing was moving in the air. I was just nervous. Like I ain't never experienced nothing like that.
Did you have any of them fools with their masks down on the plane?
No, everybody had their mask on.
Yeah, you just didn't know. You'd have been looking around enough, you'd have found them. All right, so good. And something you're gonna do again soon? Yeah,
I
you do it a
don't.
little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
All
I
right.
get used to it.
All right. You gonna drive back?
No, I'm a fly back.
Still, you gonna fly?
Yes, sir.
All right. I mean,
Fly back.
nothing but an 18, 20-hour drive.
I can't do that. That's too long right there.
I drove cross country
Oh, really?
3 times
that's right.
last season. I drove to work from Los Angeles to here to Chicago because I was scared to get on the planes.
Right.
So I drove once in a big long tour bus that cost a bunch of money too. So I had to go down from there. I said, I still don't want to spend this money. So then me and my buddies drove in a minivan twice. Minivan. Are you too good to?
Oh, no.
Why can't you drive back? I'm scared. I drove because I'm scared of COVID.
Oh, right.
Right, what?
No, I might fly. I mean, I might drive. I don't know, but I'd rather fly. It's quicker.
I need a commitment before we go any further. I need to know. You better than, I need to know whether you better than me.
I'm gonna fly back,
you
young.
bougie. You look down on me. You looking down on me because I drive from LA to Chicago. You get your money out. Like coming here looking down on me, talking down to me. But you can drive all you want. I'm fine. Ain't no what? You did that? Oh no.
Oh man.
All right.
Defendant Richard Jackson is being sued by his cousin, who says Richard thinks he's a ladies' man, but every time he talks to a female, they turn him down.
Give me some more background. I'm glad you had the opportunity to come see us.
Well, yeah, Your Honor. I help, Shaquaja out from time to time. We're two eldest boys,
How?
I go pick them up from school when my day, because I get off in the afternoon, and she'd just be going to work. So I go pick them up from, their schools, and I bring them back with me.
Good.
And I take them to the park, or we might, do little fun stuff until she get off. And yeah, me and Shaquaja, we close. It's one of my favorite cousins.
All right. How's your employment situation? Sounds like you had to lean on her a little bit. But how is your employment situation?
I'm employed. I'm currently employed. I work. I do logistics at a warehouse.
Good.
Yes,
Those
sir.
are good jobs.
Yes,
They're
sir.
starting to pay more and more on those jobs because there's a shortage of workers.
Absolutely.
All right. And tell me what happened here with the car, ma'am.
June the 22nd, 2021, the same day, I sold the car to Rashad. I haven't received a payment of $700 that same day.
When was he supposed to have paid it off?
We agreed after he put $700 down, he make a payment every 2 weeks of $200 till the remainder is paid off.
All right. And what did he? He hasn't given you anything.
He made a payment September the 1st of 2021 of $700, sir, which that's on page 3.
Okay. All right. And what has he said when you've asked for the rest of your money?
Every time I try to call Rashad, he'll avoid my calls, and then he'll send me a text and say, "Cuz I got you," or something came up, which that's on page.
Okay, let me hear from you, sir. Tell me about the car.
Well, the first thing is, Your Honor, we agreed on $2,000 for the car. It was never $4,700. It was only $2,000.
And when you told her that, what did she say?
She said, okay, she agreed to it.
No, I'm saying since then, when she's asked for her money, did you say, remember it was only $2,000?
Yeah.
And what'd she say to that?
She said, okay, yeah, where's my money? Basically,
She said, okay, $2,000 is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got her to back away from the $4,000.
It never was $4,000, Your Honor.
I know, but she said it was.
I know.
And when you told her, she said, okay, $2,000.
Yeah, it was $2,000. It never was. She never told
You
me.
hear her today? Is this the first time you've ever heard the number 4,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, it
you
wasn't-
said you have some type of evidence?
Yes, sir. It's on page.
I see a discussion. I need my money as soon as possible. I need my $4,000. I'll pay you for the car. Give me time. I'm sorry. That was a real quick case. All right, young man. I don't know what's going on with you, but that wasn't even good thinking, let alone a response. All right, judgment for the plaintiff is very clear. He said he never heard of the number 4,000. And the first piece of evidence you showed me where you asked him for your 4,000 and he say, okay, give me time. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor. Richard, I still love you. You're still my favorite cousin. And, business is business.
I love you. Still my family. Business is business.